Yes, thank you, Vicki, for bringing this painting up, because I was just going to pass it. This actually is a, this, as you can see, is part of the swimming series. And, as I said before, I don't paint face as well. In this painting, I wanted to paint nothing but the face. I always like to know the rules so I know which ones to break, including my own rules. So I said, well, this is sort of my act of defiance out of the swimmer series, and so I painted a face. And that, the gesture, the swimmer series is all about the gestures of the body. Well, this is about the gesture of the face. And this painting, of course, you have the stark white of the cap, which is sort of like a crown, if you will, and the sort of coy or look of the face. It's in the eye, and of course so it's part of the swimmer series. It's rather than the humbling gesture of the body, it's the humbling gesture of the face. And so I'm glad you pointed this one out, because it is sort of it's part of the swimmer series. Yeah, it does.
You captured a real apprehension there, tension. To me.
Yeah. Well, and that's the paradox. I mean, it looks intense. Yeah, I mean, you could see it as very weak and apathetic and coy, but at the same time, you could sort of like the cat that ate the mouse.
Really? That red line around the face, though, rejects that.
And Sky, what I like is the eye. It is anatomically correct that white shape repeats the white shape of the hat and talks to the white shape of the hat. And the starkness of the white cap, I think, is what pops out at me the most, because it's a very dark painting. As the swimmer series is very dark, they're very dark in color and they're very dark in concept. But this one, very dark, and you have this sort of cap that he's donning or whatever. This is very like I always say crown-like. And so.
Well, and it's like the light is emanating from the cap.
Yeah, and I guess I don't like subject matter that is just in your face. Although we're going to get to the next subject matter, which is
another paradox.
Yeah,
it's in your face.
It can tend to be that way. I guess that's why I like the swimmers, is because they're sort of innocent, yet they're. It's very. I always like things that are about what they're not, and so the
subject versus content.
Exactly. Well, it's obvious it's a swimmer. That's what's in your face, but I always say the paradox of it, or I guess I should say that what it transcends to, because that's why I paint. If this was a photograph of a swimmer's head, it would be nothing but a swimmer's head, and the art would line the aesthetics of the photo, with lights and darks, or how good of a photo is it. It's more of an illustrative thing. In paint, you change all of that. The obvious thing is the most painted thing in art history is the female nude, or the female, I should say, which, a picture of a nude female, well, you got to factor in, well, is this pornography, is this, what is it? But if it's in the language of paint where it transcends, whereas a photo is more, illustrative, and, it's different than, say, and that brings me to the next subject matter, which is the female.